Welcome to KQEG and 7 River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and into fitness. This week, the spotlight on La Crescent High School Soccer, one of the best programs in the state of Minnesota. And two seniors, my guests, Andy Lopez, Tyler Lampert. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
As we tape the show, you're off to a 5-3-1 record. We taped the show here on September 30th. Last night I noticed on the clips, tough loss to Dover Iota. What's your thought, Andy, as we tape this show and your season is almost into the playoffs?
You know, a tough loss last night, like you said. We wanted to really win that one. That was a big conference game. Could have got our seedings higher. But towards the end, we just got to go as hard as we can and play like it's our last, and soon it will be our last.
How disappointing was that for you, Tyler?
Well, we obviously tried like our hardest the whole game. They're a very good team. We like to compare them how we've been the last 3 years. They've all played together. They have really good chemistry, and they have a very good defender who just stopped everything in the back. I believe he's D1. And it was just tough getting past, and it was a little disappointing, but we played a lot better than we did at their place.
Well, maybe it'll be an inspiration. As I look at your schedule, St. Charles this week, and then postseason, uncertain of your seeding, 5 to 8, somewhere in there, postseason. Maybe there's a silver lining to inspiring you to, again, as in the past, finish the season on a good note. Is that correct, Andy?
Yeah, we're hoping to finish on a good note. I don't know how far we'll go in the playoffs, but I'm hoping to make a pretty good run in the playoffs.
When you started the season, late, of course, Tyler, and with the uncertainty of school, sports, the country, the world, and all those kinds of stuff, you started late, so you didn't really get into the season like you had hoped in August. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we tried getting together somewhat during the summer, knowing that we might have a season or might not. We still wanted to get touches on the ball. It was just kind of, we were going into the dark at the beginning of the season because it's all new to us. Obviously, we had to separate ourselves in practice, and we just, we didn't really know what was going to happen. We knew we had a season, which we were thankful for, compared to like football and all the other sports, but yeah, it was definitely kind of scary that we might not have a season.
Need to be safe, need to be healthy. How have practices with Coach Pichet, how have practices changed under those COVID guidelines?
Well, most of the time, he just makes us, like, if we're in a line, just like spread out a little bit, be a little more distant, like as they tell us to.
Drills and stuff different?
Yeah, just like if we're standing in a line, he just says spread out a little bit, don't be, because usually we're like a foot or two behind each other, and now we're like 3-4 feet behind each other.
Again this week, Andy Lopez and Tyler Lampert. We're talking about the Crescent High School Soccer. As we taped the show here on September 30th, last night was not a good night for this country with the presidential debate. It was a disaster, according to a lot of people. We have lots of things on our plate. Your disruption of school starting last spring, your senior year in jeopardy, school in jeopardy, the season in jeopardy, and with the virus, with the divisiveness in this country, which I'm sure you talk about in your classes, with the isolation issues, with mental wellness for young people, recession. I mean, your plate is full, Tyler.
Yep. I just think that we just got to keep moving forward, take whatever hits us, and just kind of look at it and observe and adapt to whatever is going on.
Easy to say.
Yeah.
But is it that easy to do?
I would say no, because it definitely piles up. I would say with schoolwork online, you're getting hit with emails every other minute almost, and it definitely is overwhelming at some points, yeah.
Is it affecting you mentally?
I wouldn't say personally me yet. Not that I'm not too sure about myself, I guess, but I would say no right now, but it could get there.
Well, you know, a big part of school is social aspect, as I can remember decades ago. And now you're in school a couple days a week. It's hybrid,
Yep.
alphabetical, and so on. And, you know, that could change, too, if there's an outbreak. So there's disruption in your schooling. Is that difficult, Andy?
Yeah, I find online learning, as I feel like a lot of people do, a lot more difficult, just because I'd rather be there, see examples, get the homework in hand, rather than someone saying, oh, do this, due by this date, online.
Well, you described me and probably a lot of our viewers, because I'm not a good virtual learner either. Well, one more thought before we kind of move into your soccer season and school and so on. It won't be long that you'll be elevated in adulthood and so on. You'll be in a job where you're making decisions. The world will be yours, kind of. And hopefully it won't be like the uncertainty that we have now. So fast forward yourself to a few years from now when you're making the decisions. What do you want to see happen in the world? And like Gandhi said, you can make a difference. You are the difference in what the world will be at some point. What do you want it to look like?
First of all, I guess, as us being friends and just in our friend group and grade in general, I feel like we're a lot more positive thinkers than a lot of the adults right now. That it just seems like everyone's so vicious to each other, like we said before, and we're a lot more. I just feel like we're a lot more helpful and just open-minded than a few older people than we are.
Some that maybe become cynical or really look at it with a lot of pessimism. You have a silver lining, and you're looking for, is that your personality? You're looking for the good in what's happening?
Yeah, yeah.
How?
Just like I said, I'm very open-minded. I look at it from both sides, whatever the problem is, and I just go with whatever is beneficial for everybody.
Andy, you see this as a period of growth where you can change, your personality can maybe change as a result of all these setbacks, all this adversity. Is that going to make you a stronger person?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people during this time have like kind of changed like into better people than they were before. Personally, I have too, I think. And yeah, I just think everyone has changed a little bit during this time.
Through reflection, or through prioritizing, or through seeing some good things and not being down about what's going on? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think there's like so much bad right now that people are just starting to look at like the good side, like Tyler said. Like everyone's starting to try to start looking at like what's the little things. Like the little things really do matter.
Well, that's why you're on the show, because you have this kind of character that is appealing and impressive. So, Tyler, you're a multi-sport athlete, soccer, track, basketball?
Yeah, I used to play basketball. I still do for fun now, but yeah, I enjoy all those sports. Yep.
You have a favorite?
Soccer, definitely. Yep, all my life.
And you started young, we could talk about that, but you're also an honor roll student.
Yeah, yep.
And so, is that, being multi-sports and so on, is that difficult to stay in some of the top students in your class, prioritize your homework, and make sure that your title of student athlete is correct? It's not athlete student, it's student athlete?
Yep.
Is that what your parents expect?
They definitely look at my grades and expect more of it than me, because it's sports is a privilege. That's what they always say. It's always school first. And it's definitely getting a little bit harder now with the online schooling, but my goals this year and the year before were always just to stay on top of all my assignments and just get them in whenever they're due.
Academics is important to you too?
Yeah, like Tyler said, like soccer or any sport is a privilege. Like you got to do the work in the classroom before you do the work with your team.
there's a saying that goes like this: to sacrifice the gift, and you've been given a gift, is a highly disappointing thing to see. You've been given a gift as an athlete, where a lot of people wish they had your skills, and your job is to model that in an appropriate way, right?
Yep.
Well, speaking of modeling, we have some good sponsors on this show that really do a nice job of making sure that we're on the air every single week. We're going to hear from them right after this.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Start that again, sorry. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports, La Crescent High School Soccer, one of the best programs in the state of Minnesota and throughout the Cooley region. We are profiling 2 of the seniors, Andy Lopez and Tyler Lampert. Tyler Lampert, 4-year starter on D, all-conference. As a junior, in the last 3 years, the team has only given up 20 goals. And 4 career goals for you, 9 assists. Tyler, according to Coach Pichet, Tyler is a shutdown defender with the ability to contribute offensively too, if needed. He has played at a consistent high level, says Coach Pichet, for the last 4 years, and considered one of the top defenders in the area. His leadership on and off the field is phenomenal. He is respected by players and assists in improving underclassmen and instills a tradition of Lancer soccer throughout the program. Pretty nice comments.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yep.
Reflect on that, process that. How do you react to what he said?
Well, I'm thankful for him giving me the opportunities he has all these 4 years. And me personally, how I looked at it when I first suited up, I had to just give it my all whenever I'm on the field. Because I started I suited up in 8th grade and then was starting in 9th grade. And I just wanted to prove myself, I guess, and make him proud and just show that I can play at a high level.
Are you content? Are you satisfied with what you've done in your career? You're not quite over. We still got a state title to bring back to the Crescent, but are you satisfied?
I am very satisfied, yeah. Definitely, when you look back at tough games, you can always say you could have done more. But in the end, that nobody's perfect, and you always just I got to realize that you gave it your all.
We can't forget about Andy Lopez.
Nope.
4-year starter, all conference, freshman, sophomore, junior. In the last 3 years, the team has scored 219 total goals. That's something I didn't know. 4 career goals for him, 9 career assists, 6th in career scoring in school history. Oh, my goodness. Andy's considered one of the top players in the area, says Coach Pichet, and is a constant scoring threat. He takes on multiple defenders. I even saw that on a clip on TV. He has been all-conference since his freshman year. His work ethic is off the charts, and that's a pretty lofty comment. Willing to play any role. He's a great team player, and that describes Andy Lopez.
Jeez.
Well, He must like you.
Yeah. I remember 9th grade year coming in and everyone was like kind of worried because he was like, oh, is Andy playing? Is Andy playing? Because I played 7th and 8th grade football, so I didn't play soccer until freshman year. And coach was just kind of just watching, seeing how I'd do, and we kind of clicked right in the beginning.
Good. So you know, coaching, it's all about relationship building. Taking an athlete and if they're not producing, taking them to a level that they never knew they could get to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the job of a coach and a teacher, by the way, which is what Coach Boucher is. Well, soccer is a mixture of finesse players and scrappy players, aggressive players. What kind are you, Andy?
I don't really know.
How would you describe yourself?
I'm quick, pretty good on the ball, and can kind of shoot a little bit.
Speaking of on the ball, there's a quote about soccer from a famous soccer player who said, I learned a lot about life with a ball at my feet. What have you learned about life playing soccer?
Well, not everything goes your way. I know that's the first thing that comes to mind, and you just got to learn how to deal with it, I guess. We've had tough losses before, and I guess we've just always had to overcome them and keep on playing.
Good. Have you learned life lessons, or one in particular that you will take with you the rest of your life, Andy?
Yeah, kind of like Tyler's. Everything can be taken from you in like a second. Like, I remember playing Rochester, and like we were going in there kind of big-headed and didn't turn out how we wanted to. So like just like that, like our season was taken.
When I think of soccer, I think of David Beckham, of course, who came from England. I think of USA players now, Kobe Jones, DeMarcus Beasley, Tim Howard, some of those players. I think of like Stanford, UCLA, some of the top collegiate. And then, you know, I think every 4 years, or every time there's the World Cup, and I think the next one is 2022 in Qatar, an Arab country. When I think, then everybody seems to get really excited about soccer. If you're modeling yourself after somebody that maybe is playing at a higher level, is there anybody or any skill that you really look at when you watch soccer, Tyler?
A player that I usually like to watch, Ozil. He plays on Arsenal in England. He's a very good playmaker, very good dribbler, and he just is a very good team player, and that's who I always look back at if I ever watch.
When you want to improve your skills, who do you look at? Or is there a team or an athlete? Andy?
For me, it's more of a player because my position, I'm mostly just scoring. So I look at like quicker players, someone like Ronaldo or Messi. That's who I really watch and take stuff from. Good.
Tyler, 2 older sisters, family, a big part of who you are. We talked before we went on the camera, on the show, that you were born in a farm. You lived in Caledonia. Caledonia's got some pretty good teams.
Yeah.
In every sport.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of Caledonia athletes on the show. So a family, you look, you're in a soccer match, you look, and there they are watching. Support system?
Yes, definitely. My parents come to almost every single game. My grandparents, actually, the farm that we lived on, they came to most of the games too, all my seasons, and yeah, very good support system, I would say.
Of course, and that's something people. Do all your friends and everybody in La Crescent know that you were born on a farm and came to La Crescent?
I'd say not too many people, but obviously some people know.
Well, they will now.
Yeah.
The world will know.
Yeah.
Andy, that's a big part of your two. You have 3 siblings, mom and dad, and they're fans.
Yep. Biggest fans. My mom's always there. My dad sometimes can't make it because of work, but he tries his best. But yeah, my mom's my biggest fan.
Good. And you're going to TC, grade school.
Yep.
For your generals, and then what?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not totally sure yet. But have some ideas, but not totally sure.
Something that you don't want to reveal yet because you're not sure.
Yeah, it's top secret.
So all of us have role models, people that inspire us when we were younger, even today. Who inspired you?
I had two really good coaches that started me young. One was Randy Corcoran. Actually, I'm still friends with his son, Ty. He just made me really enjoy the game, really see how much fun you could have in a sport. And then Ryan Capwell, which Tyler was on the team with, he just kind of showed me more on what to do at a higher level.
Recognized your gift and took it from there, and your role models, you have similar coaches.
Yep. Ryan Capel, as you said, he was our summer soccer coach when we were 12. Like when we were pretty young, we were still trying to figure out like how we were going to play. We were playing MVS, which is a little higher up, and he just kind of shaped us into what players we are now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Chris Barnes, too.
Yeah. When I started playing fall soccer in 7th and 8th grade, he kind of took me under his wing, I'd say, and he really believed in me. He put me in a lot of leadership roles on the JV team, and we just kind of clicked, and he was very helpful, I'd say.
You graduated in May, and where's Tyler going?
I'd say I'd probably stay in the area, live at home. I'm undecided on what I want to do. Maybe something with business or like marketing. Not too sure yet what exactly, but yeah, definitely some sort of business type.
Well, you're a leader. You show your leadership. It's apparent in just getting to know you on the show. How do you demonstrate that on the soccer field?
If something goes wrong, I always say keep our heads up. Especially even if we go up, like in a tight game, 1-0. Our coach always says, and we always repeat it, it's a 0-0 game. And you just got to keep that mindset that it's not over until it's finished, and you just got to keep moving forward.
Does that tie in with your philosophy on life, too?
Yeah, yep, definitely.
Which is live in the
moment.
Yep. And don't sweat. There's a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Is that you?
Yeah, yep.
Just look at the big picture. And Andy, you're a leader, too. And so would there be something that you could share with our viewers that would be inspiring as to how you show your leadership?
With me, I'm more, I'd say because I'm on offense, I'm more vocal, so I feel like a leader should show like they're vocal, you know, they know what's going on in the game. They're not just sitting there like, oh, give me the ball, like kind of almost guiding them through, but
encouragement. You're all about encouragement.
Yes.
And what philosophy of life is what?
Mine? Hard work beats talent.
And and also you but you also mentioned on your profile that that your philosophy is to appreciate and love everyone around you in an unconditional way. Do you demonstrate that?
Yeah, I feel like I show love to everyone. I do love everyone, but
good for you.
I feel like that's what the world needs right now. Is just everyone needs to love each other.
Jeez, you said that pretty darn well. God, I wish that would have been shared before last night's debate.
Yep.
We don't want to get into that, but one of the benefits of hosting a show is I get to meet people like Tyler and Andy, who I didn't know until half an hour ago. But you're inspiring, and it's a pleasure to meet Andy Lopez and Tyler Lampert from La Crescent Soccer. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts as well as highlights from Friday night's game right after this.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Well, an exciting non-conference game on Friday as the West Salem Panthers would host the undefeated Aquinas Blue Goals. And now I'm going to start for the Blue Goals, as on the first possession, a bad snap over the head of Jackson Flotmeyer led to a safety 2-0 lead for the Panthers early in the first. In the second quarter, Luke Knoll from 3 yards out and a Joseph Daly PAT. Then Jackson Flotmeyer to a wide-open halfback, Aiden Lee from 10 yards out for the first Blue Goal touchdown. The conversion pass failed, 9-6 Panthers at intermission. No scoring in the third, so we move to the final quarter. 2 more TDs by sophomore and our player of the game, Luke Knoll, from 45 and from 1 yard out. The Panther defense stiffened with senior standout C.J. McConkey, along with a pair of juniors, Noah LaFleur and Jack Haley, to prevent the Blue Goals from finding pay dirt. Flotmeyer was held to only 87 yards passing. Sophomore Calvin Hargrove rushed for 67 yards. West Salem ran for an impressive 209 yards, with Luke Knoll leading the way with 149 yards. Final from West Salem, the Panthers 22 and the Blue Goals 6. The 3-1 Blue Goals are at Onalaska on Friday, while the 2-1 Panthers travel to Nakusa. Well, that's it this week. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy week ahead.